I have really tried to not make a video about Candace Owens, but I can't hold it in anymore. It's driving me crazy, and I'm tired of just trying to fight things in the replies. And I thought it would have died out by now because other people have made some great videos, like John from Whaddo You Meme, or Ali Beth Stuckey gave Candace Owens one of the most gracious and biblical rebukes I've ever seen. It was so gentle, and all that Candace did was attack her and accuse her of being a fake Christian. And it is true that I think more people are catching on now. The media is starting to call her a lunatic. But oddly enough, her followers are digging in, and they're saying that the fact that people are calling her a lunatic is proof that she's not a lunatic. So how does that work? They're calling her a lunatic, so she must be over the target, even though she's been wrong about so many things. And I'm going to list some of those things that she's been wrong about. And please excuse me for being a little excitable here, because she claims that she's doing it for Charlie, but she's exploiting his death to attack the organization and the people that he loved. Do you really think a guy as smart as him was such an idiot that he didn't know how to surround himself with good people? He was smart enough to get rid of Candace. I know that. And you got to ask yourself, why? Why was she out at the time all this was going down? Okay. For starters, she was wrong. I'm going to list some of the things she was wrong about. For starters, she was wrong about Netanyahu's letter. She said it was anti-Israel and insisted that it be released. It was released, and it was not anti-Israel. She insisted that the meeting in the Hamptons was hostile, but everybody who was there refutes that and said that it was not hostile. Very telling. She said that Tyler Robinson never called a car a vehicle, even though he called it a vehicle in the same video that she presented and selectively edited, where he said car, and she edited out that he said vehicle, which to me is an indication of deliberate deception, not just her usual paranoia or an error. I mean, we all make errors sometimes, but hers are like really added up. She claimed that a shady plane took off at the time of Charlie's death, but she kind of had to walk that back because it turns out that she didn't even understand things like airport symbols or how airlines record time. She claimed that innocent hand gestures from people in the audience on the day of his death were actually nefarious, when it was just people like Frank Turek adjusting his hat. I mean, that is just absolutely crazy. She also really went off one day, wacko, talking about some Mormon bee cult and how they were supposedly involved. She claimed that she was going to violate a gag order that she was not even subject to, or acted like the gag order was something, kind of suspicious, when really it applies to the people who were there that day, and it's designed to not prejudice a jury. And Candace is going way out of her way to do exactly that, to prejudice a jury, which could result in the real murderer getting off. Personally, I think she's such a liar. I don't believe a word she said. For one thing, she said she knew that Charlie had been betrayed as soon as she heard about it. Based on what? Her feelings, because she doesn't know, but she knows. And so we're supposed to just believe her. And that's true of all her sources. They're like secret sources using secret methods. So there's no way that you can really verify them. According to the Bible, it says that by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall every fact be established. And that's something that jurisprudence has followed for the most part. And yet we're just supposed to believe her because she says it and because she has a dream. I mean, how can people be so ridiculous? Look at the people that she has charged with being in on Charlie's death. She's accused, Turning Point USA, of course. She's accused President Trump pretty directly. I mean, usually she doesn't come right out and say it. She just alludes to things and puts thoughts in her followers' minds. But she pretty much came right out and said that Trump had betrayed Charlie. Now there's Egyptian planes involved, and there's supposed to be a hit squad out on her that's combined of, French legionnaires sent by the Macrons, and also an Israeli, because, Israel, of course, always has to be implicated. She can't let the Jew hate go. She has to include that. And so that, to me, too, was a sign that this whole death threat thing is bogus, because it just was a little tell. Like how when Jussie Smollett said that he had been attacked by MAGA, there was a tell for me where I knew that story was bogus, because he claimed they tried to put a noose around his neck and hang him. And when the police arrived, he's still wearing the noose. Anybody who had tried to be hung with a noose is going to get that noose off of their neck as fast as possible. To me, that was the tell. And when it comes to Candace now, the tell is that she includes this Israeli hitman among the French. They don't even get along very well, the French and the Israelis. But it's like she's deliberately trying to provide some kind of continuity to her story. And like I said, she just can't let the Israel thing go. And then she claims that the White House confirmed her, information about this. But if you look at how she worded it, you have to look at the wording very carefully, because she kind of did it in a weaselly way. I mean, if I sent an email to the White House, they could confirm receipt of my email, saying, "We received your email." The White House confirmed my email. That doesn't mean they confirm the contents of the email. And it seems, again, to me, to be very deliberately and deceptively worded. A few more things that she got wrong. There were people in the audience wearing hoodies and sunglasses, and she ID'd them. She pointed them out as suspicious. And yet it turns out they were just well-known athletes who like to maintain some kind of anonymity on campus. So she was wrong about that. She insisted that death certificates contain ballistic information, but for some reason in Charlie's case, that information was missing. But actually, death certificates never include things like ballistic information. They don't get into that kind of detail. She also essentially lied when she said that she had never accused Erica of being in on it. No, she never did super directly, but she sure implied it. She said that he was betrayed by everybody. And she certainly cast aspersions on Turning Point USA, and Erica's the head of that. She also said that Charlie's life was like the Truman Show, where the wife was in on the deception. So draw your own conclusions. Also very tellingly, she said that Robinson's communications with Lance were Discord messages that were missing. And she didn't even seem to know, when a reporter asked her about it, that it specifically said in the indictment, not that they were Discord messages, but text messages. I mean, that's a big one. It's all speculations and innuendo and slander. And when one narrative doesn't pan out, she shifts to another one. And another big one was when she apparently got punked. And she acted like this one address, and she was revealing the address. And it was this nefarious nexus of all these evil organizations like the FBI and the CIA and the DEA, and they were all somehow involved. And she reveals the address, which turns out was the address of her attorney. And she didn't even seem to recognize that until people pointed it out. Yeah, there's an FBI office there. It's not secret. You know, you can Google it. It's there. But I think she obviously got punked. And then the next thing you know, she's coming up with this death threat thing, which is, to me, an obvious diversion. So for all the people who say, what has she been wrong about? there are some samples, and I'll leave links to some other people who have done some good videos in the description. Thank you.